can be that great.
On the road, walking.
Okay, we just finished the breakfast show. Got HelpCentre here. We've got Eddie. But I was just going to share something. So these things that have been discussed today, right? About giving a person room, about Hollywood love and the way God works. I think this is the essence to a person to find happiness in their love life, right? I think this is the essence for God to trust the person, for God to do His work, His miracle in their life, for them to find the person. Because sometimes we can frustrate God's plans in just the way of our thinking, right?
Definitely, we do. Actually, we do frustrate God's plans because, He's brought us in His realm to know love and to give love. And when we settle in understanding who we are in God, then we're able to manifest that in relationships right across the board. So as Miss Elena said, that her priority is her husband. So we know our priority when we're in that relationship. We have great relationships externally, but our priority will be the one that we call husband or wife. And so we don't want to frustrate God's,
Yeah.
plan.
And so the 4 points were love life. Yeah, it's two kinds of love. There's Hollywood love, right? That will keep expectations, and there's God's love, right? And the first one, how do we get God's love? First, am I of God? Am I of God? If we can see signs in our character that we're not quite there yet, or we're doing certain things, work on it, overcome it. Then we go to number 2, which is, are they of God? I was hoping you finish the sentence. You didn't know. Are they of God?
I was in my thoughts.
So because you're of God, you also have discernment, right? You know what it's like to sacrifice to please God. You know what that looks like. You know what it's like to condition your mind to be on the thoughts of God. You've been there already, right? So you know what to look for because you are on that way of sacrifice, self-denial, obedience to God's word. So your heart would already have been changed for what that looks like. You're not looking for someone that looks good because you want to protect what you did in number 1, which is to have a relationship with God, to be of God, right? So you have discernment. So number 2 is the person of God. Now, if the person's of God, you tick those 2 boxes, then it's like 3, let's work on it, right? Can come in different shapes and sizes, but because you're of God and the person's of God, you see as God sees, unless you still have that Hollywood mentality, right? You're looking for Tom Cruise in his younger days.
And that's when it shows up.
And that's when it shows up.
If you've got that Hollywood mentality, when you're in that relationship, that's when it's going to show up. And then you're going to have to work on yourself again.
Yeah. That's it, drop it like it's hot, right? That's the process. That's the process. Sometimes people are not working the process, right? They're just in the air, punching the air. There's no defined goal. So let's work on it. So God doesn't see as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance. God looks at the heart. That's why we need to be of God, because then we can discern and see what's inside of the person, and they are doing the same to us as well, right? Are there going to be challenges? Yes. So guess what? When we see that this person's the one, our mind is, what can I do to help this person, right?
And that's so key, because now you know that you're going to be serving, because you're not there to nitpick, but you're there to work together. And the listening process is so important, and the discerning process is key, because then you're going to be able to pick up on things that you know when to speak and when not to speak, and when to say something that's going to enhance and encourage, and then just be totally silent.
Absolutely. So that's only because number 1 has taken place and number 2 has taken place, right? Are we going to be perfect? No, because we're human beings. But we are number 1 and number 2, right? To be of God doesn't mean we're a perfect human being. Only God is perfect. But there is room for us to listen to the author of love. When we fail, we can come back. We can pray for that person. We have the faith to pray for that person and pray for ourselves at the same time, for that person to work on themselves. Like HelpCentre was saying, to gauge what's happening in that conversation, to help that person. So that's it, the 4 steps, right? 1, am I of God? Are they of God? 3, let's work on it. 4, what can I add to this person. And then we go in this way, we keep working, and then we get a wedding.
And that's the way to go forward. And then, you know, as it says, there's no burden. There's no burden attitude, because when you find one, it's both ways. You find a good one.
That's it, all right? And this is what the outcome is, all right? And can I say with no sorrows?
No burden.
There's gonna be sorrows.
Yes.
Because you're two, I think Hercules put it right, two mashed potatoes that are working to mash together, right? But because we've got those 4 pieces in place, especially that first 2, we'll get there. It's time. We're giving each other room, as we spoke on the program.
Yeah, definitely. It's wonderful. It's something that, you know, like the farmer, he goes to sow seed, and then when he sows the seed, there's a harvest time. When we're with God, He's preparing us, and then there's going to be a harvest. And that harvest is the quality of our character, our serving, and our giving, our sacrifice. Isn't that wonderful? Oh my goodness. Wow,
that's amazing. I remember there's some things I'll be like Nicola, like in the beginning, like, oh, come on. Like in my mind, I'm being spiritual, right? Come on, we need to have these things ready. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, because I'm dealing with, like, as if I'm in the work of God speaking to somebody who's, do you know what I mean? Or I'm in, do you know what I mean? So, but with time, it's like, God gave me space to grow and change. I need to give her space to grow and change.
Isn't that wonderful? You get humble. You're humble. You become pliable, and then God can work with you, because He, you know, that's it. It's not about pity, but it's mercy. Mercy gives room. Mercy gives space. Mercy just, you know, it just helps you to build. Remember, knowledge puffs up, love builds up.
And on that note, guys, I look forward to seeing you on the show next week on Monday. We're going to have our live show. There's going to be more music. We want to hear from all of you on The Breakfast Show, libertyradio.co.uk, from 7 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time till 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. HelpCentre, you're awesome.
This program is awesome. This is great to be here. Thank you for listening to me.
By the way, you're awesome as well, Eddie. And you're awesome as well, those of you who took time to watch this. God bless you. See you during the week on The Breakfast Show.
Changes can be that great. You can be that great.
On the road, walking this journey of fate.